prosecutors questioning whether Judge Eileen Cannon fully understands the case.
Donald Trump on Truth Social. Deranged special counsel Jack Smith, who has a long record of failure as a prosecutor, including a unanimous decision against him in the U.S. Supreme Court, should be sanctioned or censured for the way he's attacking a highly respected Judge Eileen Cannon, who was presiding over his fake documents hoax case.
Smith bluntly telling Judge Eileen Cannon, who was appointed by Donald Trump, that her decision to even consider Trump's claim that he could just declare classified documents to be his personal papers was fundamentally flawed.
He is a lowlife who is nasty, rude, and condescending.
Smith's team tells the judge that she is operating under a, quote, fundamentally flawed legal premise, one that had no basis in law or fact.
Smith's unusually critical language came in response to Judge Cannon's suggestion that she might instruct the jury to take into account Trump's claims that the classified documents were his personal property. Smith writing that such a legal premise is wrong and would distort the trial.
Obviously trying to play the ref. He shouldn't even be allowed to participate in this sham case where I, unlike crooked Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and all the rest, come under the Presidential Records Act.
I mean, there would be a factual issue here if Donald Trump could claim that he really thought that some of these documents were personal and could raise that as an intent defense in his case. But the fact of the matter is, Jack Smith points out that he never thought that these documents were covered by the Presidential Records Act. He's on tape saying that these are classified and he shouldn't have them.
All caps. I did nothing wrong. But Biden did, and they let him off scot-free. How did that happen, Jack? A two-tiered system of justice, election interference.
This has been his central argument in filings and in public, which is, I have the right to do this. And if she rules that he doesn't, then it deprives him of that argument. And so it's looking for some sort of Solomonic compromise. The court said, well, maybe we can handle this in the instructions to the jury. And what the government said is, there's no reason to do that. Just decide it now.
And by Jack Smith asking the court to hurry up and decide it now, and Smith arguing the judge doesn't seem to know the law, Donald Trump is erupting. And it is a more intense eruption at Smith than Trump has delivered in months. The great irony, and there always seems to be irony and hypocrisy with Trump, is that Jack Smith's tone with Judge Cannon pales in comparison to some of the things Donald Trump has said about other judges. Donald Trump called Arthur Engoron, who presided over Trump's civil fraud trial in New York, a runaway judge guilty of causing grave damage to our justice system, to New York State, and to the United States of America. Trump also smeared Engoron's wife and law clerk. Trump derided Judge Juan Merchan, who was overseeing the Stormy Daniels hush money cover-up case in New York. Trump called Merchan's daughter a rabid Trump hater. And Trump called Judge Tanya Chutkin, who's overseeing the 2020 election interference case in D.C., highly partisan. In a few of the cases, Trump is now facing a gag order, but not in Florida. So Trump is exploding at Jack Smith by name in that case. Could the Trump rhetoric lead to violence against Prosecutor Jack Smith? Perhaps. But in MAGA world, Donald Trump is the only victim, and Trump keeps repeating the woe is me message at MAGA rallies.
I think I'm the only one in America that has to put up a bond. For what? Nobody knows what I did. I had to put up a bond. If you kill somebody, there's no bond. Don't worry about it.
Actually, if you kill somebody, you may get put in jail pending the outcome of your case. What Trump is trying to do in the civil lawsuit is appeal a ruling he has already received. And to do that, New York law requires a bond.
This is all election. Put up $175 million. Nobody ever heard of a $175 million bond. I'm very proud of the fact I don't think there's been $175 million. Nobody, a bond is for $500,000, $1 million, or much less than that. A bond isn't for this.
Actually, this happens all the time, as one of the few real journalists on Fox News recently pointed out.
We've also heard there's a lot of talk about this is unprecedented amount of money. This has never happened before, but that's actually not true. Let's take a look. This is from Letitia James, the Attorney General's own court papers. I'm going to show it to you right now. There have been bigger bonds in the history. Look, from $1 billion to $1.5 billion, that was a Carnegie Mellon patent case. Those are public companies. What is about the argument that this has never been this big for a private company? Well, there have been billion-dollar bonds secured before.
In other words, Donald Trump keeps lying to his MAGA audiences. Well, that's not new, but the intensity of Trump's attacks on Jack Smith, well, those are new, at least compared to the past few months. So back to the mishandling of classified documents case in Florida. The key dispute at the moment boils down to this. Donald Trump insists he was entitled, under a law known as the Presidential Records Act, to take documents. Prosecutor Jack Smith says Trump was not entitled to take documents with him and that the Presidential Records Act is irrelevant and doesn't do what Trump says it does anyway. So who was correct? Well, here's legal analyst Nick Ackerman.
Jack Smith is 100% right. There is absolutely no connection to the Presidential Records Act to this case whatsoever. It does not allow former President Trump to have said that certain documents are personal. Even the 11th Circuit, in considering the special master claim, made it very clear that Donald Trump has no possessory interest in these documents.
Now, Judge Cannon, appointed by Donald Trump, has not made a ruling on this yet. Prosecutors are asking her to make a decision soon, and they keep signaling they may take this up to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Here's legal analyst Brandon Van Grack.
Judges do get the law wrong. Like, it does happen. In fact, it happens all the time. Like, that is why we have an appellate process. So just because there's a disagreement between the Department of Justice and the judge is not a basis to remove a judge. It can be a basis to appeal it. And I think that's really been the focus of not only the filings, but the focus I think we'll see going forward.
In other words, prosecutors are cornering Judge Cannon, setting her up to be reversed by the Court of Appeals and laying the groundwork to remove her from the Florida case. Donald Trump has reportedly been told this by his own legal team and that he should expect to lose this argument. And the string of losses against Trump in his various trials and cases are piling up. For example, the Stormy Daniels hush money criminal trial in New York is going forward despite Trump's request for a delay. So obviously the pressure is building on Trump, and he clearly has a short fuse. And that's just on the legal front. Politically, Donald Trump is getting hammered literally every day by the Biden campaign and Biden campaign allies, including the Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project's latest ad points to the significant number of Republican primary voters who keep voting for Trump's opponents that have already dropped out.
Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis say they're out of the race. They dragged you publicly. But they keep winning votes in the primaries. Without even trying. Votes you wanted. Votes you deserve. You built this movement. Their voters just don't like you. Are they embarrassed by you? More than 20% say anybody but Donald. Sounds like your dad. Does it hurt your feelings? Of course it does.
But tick, tick, tick.
Shouldn't you stop them?
Is the disgrace, twice impeached, 4 times indicted ex-president.
Of course you should. They're counting on you being too weak. You are. Too tired. You are. Too old. The sun is setting. The old Trump would have punished them. Wear a Stefflon on. But that's not you anymore, is it? It's all coming to an end.
As of this video, Trump has not lashed out yet at the Lincoln Project. But then again, Trump has been busy flipping his lid over so much else. What a mess. By the way, a C-SPAN caller just delivered a takedown of Donald Trump that was so brutal, it seemed to make the program host on C-SPAN squirm.
All he does is promote violence, criminal acts. He's a rapist. And now he wants to sell a Bible. How can such a violent man trying to destroy a country sell a Bible?
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from my mate Martin, who wrote, "The caller is 100% correct. It is incomprehensible that a person like Trump can even be allowed to run for office." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump exploding and Prosecutor Jack Smith. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.